Hey, it's Aly jumping in before the episode to let you know that Ear Coffee is celebrating 7 years of existence this September. Join us with Kate Malanofi, Bugsy, Malomiko, and Melanerpes at the Cedar Cultural Center on Friday, September 6th. We're going to be throwing a great show. Tickets are available now at thecedar.org. 18 bucks in advance or $23 day of. Once again, that is on Friday, September 6th at the Cedar Cultural Center. Find ticket links in the show notes or on any of our accounts. This week, we're celebrating the release of Disc, the debut record from Minneapolis supergroup of sorts, Fend. All four members play in numerous projects across the Twin Cities and have guested on the show before, but never officially as Fend. We went long on the making of Disc, anxiety, touring, lore, and more. The album is transcendent, funny, catchy, deeply emotional, and one of my favorites of the year. Without further ado, here's my interview with Josie, John, Kate, and Abe of Fend on the Ear Coffee podcast. But this is extra funny and extra special because technically Fend has been on the show once before, but it was like a weird on-site interview in North Dakota.
Yep.
And I don't know if the questions were good, but it was nice to see our pals, I guess.
Wow.
And between the four of them, they hold some kind of horrible record of most appearances on our podcast, except for like maybe Anita, but there's four of you and only one Anita, so I think you guys win. Anyways, love to start with some introductions. Thank you again for making time to talk and about your fantastic album.
Thanks for having us. I'm Josie. I sing and play guitar. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm Kate. I play the bass and sing, and I use any pronouns.
I am Abe. I play the drums. I use he, him.
I'm John O'Brien, and I play the guitar in Fend the band, and I use he, him in Fend.
John Guitar O'Brien, I think, is on the birth certificate somewhere.
Yep. Hasn't made the top 100 list yet.
Yeah, Rolling Stone is not.
I was short.
They're not on the streets.
Lucy Dacus just beat you.
So, as I mentioned, we did briefly talk to you forever ago, almost exactly 2 years, which is basically an eternity. And Fend has been really busy since then.
Yeah.
So kind of walk us through the first 3 or 2 years of the band.
I think it'd be really funny to go listen to that other episode because at least my attitude is probably like very different at this time than it was 2 years ago. Because I think I didn't really have like a direction with the band too much. We were kind of we wanted to start a band, me and Kate, and it was like really loosey-goosey. And then we just started playing together and it like caught on fire, I feel like. And we spent a while like investigating our creative possibilities with those EPs. A little unfocused, I would say. Even though some of my favorites are on the second one. But like once we dropped that second EP, it was like album time.
Been about 1 year since. I always wanted True Sequel. Is it called?
Yeah, True Sequel.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
the song
a
name or
year.
the EP. I'm
think
myself by not remembering.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Been less than a year, but
Damn.
it was 2023.
You know, we were kids. We were
kids back then.
We were teenagers.
Yeah. Somewhere in there, I think I just started to get really motivated for some reason.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It'd be like every time that we practiced, it'd be like, all right, you trying to learn like 3 songs?
Yeah. That's what I felt like going to Fend shows too. It's just like half songs that are about to come out, half songs that will be coming out in like a week from now or 2 weeks from now.
I think what really started that fire was like going on tour with Anita Velveeta the first time.
With Early Eyes. January 2023.
When I was like demoing out songs on the road. And he was just like hyping up the band like every single day and like singing our songs in the kitchen. And I don't know. There's a lot of other factors too. Like it just, we started playing like with a lot of local bands that I had never seen before, and like made a lot of friends. And like I feel like I've made more friends in the past 2 years than I have like yeah, in many years, which is sick. Thank you everyone for being my friend.
Friendship rocks.
Yeah.
And that's the episode.
Yeah.
It's all the mutuals.
And also, just we'll take a second to just shout out Anita because that's always deserving and everyone does it, but that's because no one works harder.
Really,
The goat.
really like egged me on personally, I would say, in terms of like making this band happen, which is sick. Does anyone else have anything to add about what led up to the album?
I feel like you did a great job.
Yeah, we just made it.
So true.
I don't know if that's the best answer or the worst answer because I'm feeling a weird combination of emotions. Is that fury or appreciation?
Well, we started recording it like the beginning of this year, like February, and it kind of like we really were just kind of like adding stuff right up until like the last.
It was very
final
piecemeal.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last song, Cremini 2, did not get like recorded until probably less than a week before we like uploaded the album. Because we were
it was the day before you finished mixing the album, the last song was recorded.
Yeah, because you had like a day, you were like, all right, I'm gonna like
I knew I wanted there to be 13 songs.
Yeah.
Because of reasons.
This is an awesome number.
It's a great number.
And I didn't really know what it was going to be until I walked in to record it. But that was an older song. There's a sequel to Cremini on the album. There was an older one that I thought wrapped it up nicely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since the songs on the album, a lot of them, in contrast with Cremini 2, have evolved over time and have had, like I mentioned, a lot of the songs are familiar listening to the album for the first time just because they've been, like, y'all played them live a lot and they've kind of been in the works for a while. Before we get too in depth with the record, what was that process what was that process like? Did you feel like there was like more of a sharpening, or did things grow and change, ebb and flow, as you like build confidence with the songs? Like, yeah, no, we played it. It felt really good.
Yeah.
This is, I like the way this is currently sounding and feeling.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those workflows where the foundations were laid and then some, like, not placeholder, but kind of ephemeral elements up top at the beginning of the process. And then we played all the songs a lot and they completely changed in some cases. Like, I tried to like totally redo the bridge on,
Is it Wet Garden?
Wet Garden, and there's another one I'm forgetting.
Is it Heartbrain Animal?
Yes, Heartbrain Animal.
Yes.
That we do completely different live, like now with different lyrics and everything. But that was, so there's a challenge with the album version. Like, what are we gonna do? So we came up with like a different solution that involved more tracking, and I'd say that applied to the rest of the album process wise. Like, kind of, we had a primitive foundation, and then we kind of like Frankenstein different live elements that emerged over the year.
Yeah, we played most of these songs live before recording them, but I feel like in between recording them in February and like doing all, because we did like drums and guitars and bass at Abe's in February, and then added a bunch of stuff after the fact, like leading up to like the mixing process and the release. And I think we just got more comfortable with the songs, even like after recording those foundational elements. There's a couple songs where we just like redid the guitars. And yeah, like they evolved a lot between like writing and then the studio, and then kept evolving after we recorded them.
Yeah.
So then we kind of had to like square the circle a little
There's like
bit.
a weird snapshot version of it. And how do we a square of the circle. That's a perfect way of putting it.
Yeah. I also think our elements that me and Kate did together, like all the cello and like piano stuff and percussion and like Abe's trumpet, that is really like the heart of the album, I feel like. Because it's like, that's the only place you're going to get that version.
Yeah.
It's on the album for sure.
Yeah,
we don't have a
drumming
player,
and playing trumpet. Like,
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there.
It is here and there and everywhere. Just using that as a segue to just talk about the record with a lot of those elements that only exist in the recorded versions. All these, because at the core, it's just rock songs and like guitar. They have just riffs, catchy melodies, all these foundational things. But then you'll hear like the synth, the trumpet, like all these kind of like effects and different tones and sounds that seem like are more, I guess, ephemeral. Like they'll just show up kind of briefly in one song. I think there's melodica at one point.
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to identify them.
Right.
This sound is so familiar.
Yeah,
but what is this?
We in the studio at City Sound. I can't call it the studio.
In the studio,
we were calling
at our studio.
We were calling it the Silly Symphony.
More symphony should be
Like
silly.
thinking of it as like a featured artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, as those elements came together as the songs were getting recorded and as you were kind of squaring the circle again, what was it like doing that? Well, how did you approach doing something like that? Since a lot of times, I don't want to say most and generalize, but bands or artists will have their songs fairly locked in, at least a certain rendition of them, and not doubting that, but come in and then there isn't a whole lot of tweaking done afterwards. Like live, for resource and like personnel reasons, that happens.
For sure.
But
I think because the album wasn't going to really represent how it's going to sound live, like from the get-go, because we just got so much better, I feel like, at all of our stuff. I think it was, rather than trying to like imitate a live sound, I feel like I wanted to just like world build
yeah,
and like make like a dope sound palette that like expanded the scope of the album dramatically. And like, I don't know. I think it turned out exactly how I was thinking.
hell yeah,
Which is sick.
that is sick.
But like, I don't know. We were just coming up with ideas.
Right. It was like, I remember we had one meeting where we just listened through it and just like threw ideas out there, and some of them stuck and some of them didn't.
What if we added this to this part?
Yeah, right.
Let's think about that.
Talking about like general feelings of each song that we wanted to have, and then kind of narrowing it down from there. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. As the kind of basis and the roots of the songs came together, how is that process, both as individuals and as kind of core collaborators, and as the band has continued to band and get stronger and better, level up, if you will? How has that evolved over the years of the band, and even since recording the album, and kind of having this divergent approach, like there's this parallel approach to a lot of the songs?
I feel like it's always kind of been that way. If I'm like understanding your question correctly, I think it kind of has, because from the beginning, like, I don't know, like our first couple meetings, obviously you are the main writer, Josie, and you like spearhead everything, but it's like
that was kind of an accident.
Yeah, right. That's true. That's true. I kind of forgot what I was saying. Yeah, it's just we've all kind of had like our part in it from the get-go, and I see what you're saying with the parallel work, where it's like some of us will be off doing one thing at the same time, someone else is doing something else to move it forward. I don't know, and it's cool to think about it like that,
roles and those parts that you kind of respectively each get to play with. That's like the clay is malleable, but it's still like the same ball of clay, and you're just turning into different things.
Exactly. I don't think the roles have changed, but we've just gotten a lot better at them with experience. Like even just kind of like locking myself in my room for a couple weeks and like mixing the album, I feel like was like the fastest that I feel like I've improved at anything, just because I had to spend like 8 hours. Yeah, just like 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Just staring at Ableton, trying to figure out how to mix an album. And then I figured it out by the end.
This was your first.
It was the first like full length thing. And with the last two Fend releases, Abe would like process the drums and everything, because that's one of the hardest parts, and I just didn't want to do it. and then this recent time, Abe told me all of his secrets, and then
opened the treasure trove.
I learned how to do it.
Finally gained his trust.
Yes, finally. Usually people have to pay thousands of dollars,
but you just have Abe.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, we just all got better. The symphony gained some more members.
Kind of just
confidence.
like a year of grinding.
Yeah,
honestly.
That's actually
like
true.
Practicing. I've been like it's a blessing not working too much this past year, and I've been spending so much time on music, and like I'm able to do that. And I feel like I've gotten so much better, and I feel like it makes everyone so much better when you're constantly doing new things as a group. Like, I don't know, I feel like we've all had the experience of getting sick of playing a song. Like, I never want to experience that like with this band.
Yeah,
there's already like songs that like I feel like we haven't played in 2 years.
Yeah. Probably most of the first EP.
Yeah.
I don't think we've played any of that since, like, because by the time True Sequel came out, we were pretty much only playing disc songs.
Yeah.
That's always what it has felt like. Like, maybe there's like you throw in one recently released song into the set list. Just
it
hasn't lost its luster, but yeah, it was just like I don't know any of these songs. And just like I'm not going to the Fend show to listen. Like, where's the hit single, man? Where's Valley Scare?
We may have to bring out some of the old song for the release show.
No, we might not even play anything from disc at Pillar Forum, to be honest.
Is it to play the both EPs front to back and new songs?
We're playing LP2.
Oh,
we're playing LP2.
Already done.
Yeah, pretty much.
LP2 is being made.
It's pretty much done. It just has to be mastered.
Just mastered. Got to get it in the MP3.
Yeah. I got to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, nobody knows what MP3
Can't figure out how to export LP2. I swear it'll come out.
So there's a file button.
Interesting.
Much to say about the file button, but yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. With disc, with this record, kind of obviously you're a very forward-thinking band, always working on new things, and so it's kind of almost like counterintuitive to sit and like meditate almost on songs that you've already just kind of been living and breathing for so long, and it's like they're about to be out, and we can take that big gasp. Sure. As kind of like the spearheader, I think is what Kate said. How did these songs come together? Like, when you were on tour, how were the ideas flowing? Like, what kind of creativity were you feeling?
Sure.
Like, not like actually like a laundry list of influences, because people love to do that, and that's
for sure
boring. More nebulously, and then as the rest of you were like, you would just show up with 3 new songs to the practice, and you'd learn them and go from there. Like, what was that, and what was that experience like, just as collaborators, as musicians, as Fend?
It was kind of hard.
Yeah.
At first, I think it was really daunting to try to get so much done. But I think at some point I kind of realized that if you want to make an album, you just have to write a lot of music, and you just have to do it. and I had a problem of like worrying about like how worried about like, you know, cringe lyrics and like stupid stuff that no one cares about. And when disc really started rolling is when I just like let go of stuff like that, I think, in a way, and just like started looking at writing music as more of a ritual, doing it every single day, and not worrying about adapting large ideas to be like easily understood.
Yeah.
And I think that describes like a lot of the lyrics on the album is like there's not a lot of specificity. It's kind of just like clouds of descriptions, and it's supposed to be like train of thought, processing interactions that I've had with other people, and just like trying to understand like other people's behavior by describing it.
Yeah, by writing about it.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. That's like almost like I think like a hallmark of writers. Like you, even if it's we're not getting into the specifics. I'm like, song is about this. Like,
Right.
And that's how you process by just like writing about it and describing it, and going from there and seeing what feelings emerge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like I definitely got something out of it, of the experience. But bring it to the band, like all the songs, bring it to the band was probably the most fun part. I think I sort of lost track of what we were talking about.
No,
you were on track.
Yeah.
You were
okay.
the engine was chugging. You were
Yeah, we're
like you
chugging.
said, yeah.
Does anyone have anything to add to that topic?
It was awesome when we played all these songs.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a new guitar in there, somewhere in there. That
Nice.
really helped.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
that'll do it.
It all comes down to the materials.
Yeah, it's all about gear at the end of the day.
I feel like for so much of these songs, like Josie would like come to the practice room with like a couple songs and then just start playing, and like, you know, we would have like heard the voice memo beforehand, but you would kind of like start playing, and then by the end of like Josie playing through, we would just kind of all have parts. Like we would just start playing, and like the first idea
That's what happens when you put dope musicians in your band.
Yeah, so true.
well, the songs
Real
are
players.
the songs are written in a way that's very conducive to just like laying down an idea and rolling with it.
Yeah. Very, very exploratory.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Also just like confident in the song itself and in each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I spent a lot of time like trying to make the foundation solid and just leaving a lot of room for everyone else.
Yeah.
Like I came up with like simple drum parts for some parts, but it was mostly just you kind of flowing. Same with John. It's like I have some melodies, but like it's mostly just John going crazy.
Yeah.
Like
John entering a flow stage.
Yeah, same with you. Like I barely ever have ideas for you guys.
Yeah, that's honestly
that's
what
hard.
Once in a while, yeah.
that's what makes it like work, because I feel like there's an intuitive understanding of everybody's playing that like, I don't know, you can just bring a song, and even if like you don't know exactly like what we're about to do, like you can kind of be sure that we're gonna have something to do. Or like there was like a recent song where like we started playing it and it was like not at all like what you were thinking of at all, but it sounded really good. So y'all have to take my word for that.
Yeah.
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 It was difficult and fun and the best.
Yeah, and
And
really,
thank you.
really easy.
And really amazing.
Yeah. Gatorade, did you have anything to add?
It was definitely like the first time I like learned songs that fast, I feel like.
Yeah.
And that was like really cool. I feel like I've learned a lot through the process of learning and recording disc, but it was super fun. I feel like I wouldn't want any other music to do that with, if that makes sense.
Totally.
So, yeah.
I kind of just like being thrown into it because it's just kind of like, and not thinking about it too much. And also just like so many times you'd put together songs and just like very unexpected things would happen and just be like, oh, wait a minute, that's like super cool. Just kind of going into it like blind in a way.
Yeah.
Produces very different results than trying to do like a super planned, structured thing.
Yeah. Were there ever times where you'd bring a song, it would take that kind of divergent direction from what you imagined, and like you almost did kind of end up like melding the two? It's like, okay, well, let's try it doing it this kind of thing. Keep a lot of the stuff that just kind of came out from playing together and just kind of came very naturally, and kind of see if we can like synthesize that. So that's not gonna be every song. Different songs come together differently.
Trying to think if there's like a song that turned out very differently than how it was written. Can I pull out the track list?
Yeah.
I won't tell. I feel like Mama, when
Oh yeah.
'cause I want to say Mama was the first one that was written for disc, and
Yeah.
that like the whole like last minute of that song was gonna be like
yeah,
probably
that's a
like
good- that's a
15
good one.
seconds, and then we just like
No, we were like trying to decide what to do at the end when we were learning it. And Kate was like, guys, if we're going to do this, we just got to keep going.
yeah.
Like, let's just keep going. Like, let's jam it out. You said something
track
like
list. Cool. Yeah, that one was cool. That was a lot of fun.
Because I was like, I need to credit Kate with like this idea for the outro. But yeah, what else?
I think you're about to like play a voice memo into the microphone.
Yeah, so this is what it said. No, let me cup it
Yeah.
down a little better.
I feel like Kissing a Kiss, the ending ended up way heavier than I was expecting.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I like, oh man, I had so much fun when we were doing like our last round of editions because I added some trumpet parts, but like some tambourine parts. And like when it hit the end, I was just like, I wasn't planning on doing tambourine on the outro. So like the heavy part started and I like wasn't playing, and then I came in on like a backbeat, like a measure later, and I'm like, wait, this is sick. And I was like, all right, that's good enough.
The funny thing about that is that you can definitely tell like which tambourine Abe played because all those parts are like crazy basically and sound awesome, and then there's like some like pretty okay tambourine everywhere else.
Yeah.
I straight up had like a massive bruise on my hand after tracking that song because I was using like my big wooden one, and it was like the super fast like.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, great tone.
It was worth it though.
Great tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, I'm sure that everyone listening to disc is going to come away with a lot of opinions about the tambourine parts
Yeah.
Very divisive.
and which ones
hard
are
not to.
superior.
No, they're
to
going to
the
be
others.
tearing y'all apart on Reddit
Yeah,
with the
seriously.
tambourine subreddit.
I'll post it there myself.
They don't like it when you post your own music. They like
the tambourine guys. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're ruthless.
specifically the tambourine guys.
They do not like it.
They-
If
they
you're
will-
trying
they will
to think you're
come
one
for
of
you.
them,
Yeah, they're a very tight knit gated
about-
community.
they'll slide.
Something that I was thinking about as I was listening to the record a bunch as I was driving home today. And I've listened to this album in the car more than anywhere else, just because John sent it to me at first when Shannon and I were on the way back from Chicago.
Oh, nice.
And that was still when only 3 of the songs were mastered. The rest are unmixed.
That's why you had to like turn that shit up and
I
down.
have to turn this up like 8 degrees and then Wet Garden come on. I'm like,
Yeah.
At least that one starts quiet.
yeah. But something I've thought about a lot, and kind of just, you can tell me if this is off, but a lot of it feels very transitional. Kind of just the place from where it was written, as far as a lot of like the kind of ways the stories and the lyrics flow out without being like, hey, I started this way. And it's not narratively, it's not, you kept that kind of beautiful ambiguity, but songs are kind of caught in turmoil, but they're also very joyful. There's parts that are very light and soft, and then there's parts that are heavy as hell and you're screaming your head off, and it contains all these different kind of multitudes shoehorn a Bob Dylan reference into here. But yeah, is that something that you kind of felt as you were thinking about the songs, as you're writing them? Like, not like, hey, what was this song about? But like, it's just, there's a lot of kind of beautiful ambiguity, to use that again.
First of all, thanks for thinking about this album so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. To that, I would say I've probably like grown as a person in the last year, like more than like the last 10 years, like combined, for various reasons.
2023 was crazy.
And I like all those songs came like during a really crazy time of change. So I think it's natural that I
reflected.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about just like, this is kind of cliche, but like thinking about where I've been and what I've done and who I'm going to be. And like picking out vignettes and stories from people around me concerning like who I want to be or who I don't want to be.
Yeah.
And what I want to avoid. And, you know, how I'm going to avoid the pitfalls of living. And how I'm going to avoid, you know. Like,
they do not have the infrastructure to make this a paved road. No. There are a lot of pitfalls.
Like, I would say to put a name to it, the main like crux of the album is like a deep fear of like substance abuse. Not to like laugh while I'm saying that.
Yeah.
But like that is generally like the big thing behind all of these like generalized stories. It's like, but you know, you have control over the person that you are going to become, you know, and yeah.
Oh my, wow. That's going to radically, not radically.
I was kind of like dreading that question a little bit, so I thought like really hard about it.
It always like kind of like flatters me when people are like, you were thinking about what questions I was going to ask ahead of time. What the hell?
Well, of course. This is probably like the only time that we will like discuss this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, as someone who also over the last few years has had a lot of substance abuse issues and is kind of recently moving past that. Hell yeah, proud of you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah to everyone.
Hell yeah to everyone.
Yeah, very serious topic, of course. I know we're all giggling, and I love to giggle. So we can definitely like keep giggling.
No, a lot of the songs are funny too.
Yeah, there's
like there's something. It's just like a non sequitur lyric, or like
you have to remember that there's also I need to say that the love song on this album was not supposed to be like horny.
Who thinks that song's horny?
You're addressing some allegations.
Yeah, I'm addressing some allegations of so it's, you know, it's a song about my partner Sarah. Yeah. And it's about the completely normal person love that we share.
Yeah.
She brought this up. So Sarah, if you're listening to this for some reason, you haven't heard me talk about this enough. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it later. Anyway,
Sarah just comes down.
Yeah, but like there is a wide range of tones on the album, and I think that's just how I like albums to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's more of like a musical thing to me.
Yeah.
But
I think that feels like a natural result of four people with their own like kind of wildly individual sense of creativity, and you're all in different projects doing different things. And you bring that all together, so there are a lot of different grounds just naturally going to be covered because like, I want to try something like this. I have been playing with this sound lately, or I've been drumming in this band lately, and that kind of sparks your fire for a certain kind of sound or certain kind of thing, and then it is reflected in the moment, but it may be fleeting.
Yeah, I feel like we put like a pretty big emphasis on like contrast and dynamics for the album, and like really emphasizing like the lows and really emphasizing the highs. Instead of just kind of like going with the flow. Like there were a lot of songs where we would just kind of play them, but like after playing them live like 4 or 5 times, like, all right, let's really like bring this down and like let's really just let loose at these sections. But I think that came across in the album too.
Everybody open up Audacity, pull the mama file into Audacity and look at the waveform, because it's really small in the beginning and then it's really big at the end.
I'm going to do that later.
You trick them to turn their
for
headphones
the visual
up.
learners.
Permanent hearing damage.
Leak the recorded version by just posting a screenshot of the waveform. Like, I won't say what it is.
Yeah. No, I'm good at reading those. I could hear it.
We should make one of those like creepy YouTube videos where it's like really quiet to make you turn up the volume. Like The Exorcist or something.
Wow.
That would be very silly.
Anyway.
That is, I think, definitely something I picked up on and felt very intentional, even if it was just, again, kind of like a natural. It's now you're like saying, like, we're going to make an album with contrast, and this is how we're going to do it. It's like, that's how it came, but that is a through line, I think, in the record. And just like listening to it front to back, you hear all those contrasts sometimes within the same song, from song to song.
I'm glad that came across.
Yeah. Dynamics, baby. I did want to ask about, kind of going back to this, about humor and how, because I think Fend lyrics can unexpectedly be very, maybe I'm not alone in this, but in a minority in this, but like I finally heard, like, there's the X-Files reference in Wet Garden, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know what you were saying. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, he's shooting first? What? And then I was like, oh my God. Oh,
John Scully?
Dana Scully. But yeah, there's just be these little kind of pockets, or like these I don't want to call them one-liners, because that makes it like you're doing a stand-up routine. But
I think part of like the not being embarrassed about songwriting thing is I also like came to terms with I'm going to get better results if I just write in my own voice and not try to sound smart or sound sexy, like just Josie.
Yeah.
And sometimes like I'm kind of dumb and like everyone knows it's fine. Sometimes that's funny. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just how we all talk to each other, pretty much, I would say.
You play too much.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, no jokes really explicitly. That would be kind of weird.
Yeah. You know, like, I gotta like this song. Let me shoe in her a little reference in here for all the people. Like,
A little slapstick.
Little slap.
That would
Save that for the music
actually be
videos.
fire. And like a breakdown. Just get like you're like falling down.
Like a contact mic of just Judge getting pushed over.
That'd be fucking
Looney
awesome.
Tune sounded.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we,
LP2. That's,
we'll have to
for
get
sure.
like there's like Meow the Jewels. There's like the cat version of Run the Jewels. We'll get like the slapstick version of Disc, where it's just
Disc,
like with
it'll
like
be
Looney Tune sound effects, and like pratfalls.
Yeah, we can call
over
it
every song.
Funny Disc.
Just turn off all the guitars and the drums, so it's just the silly symphony and the vocals.
Hey, that could be that would be very interesting to
Hardcore
hear.
version.
Yeah, the Real Heads version. This is the secret deluxe version you get if you buy it on Bandcamp
We
or
could have
something.
so many versions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. This is kind of a loaded question, and take it as in any direction you feel. What is the platonic ideal of what does the platonic ideal of a Fend song convey? not necessarily like lyrically and emotionally. There is, again, so much ground covered. And what comes out of the inability to really ever have that? Because not to get lost in the philosophy, but like the whole idea is that that's not attainable. It's like there's an object that exists, and everything else is like a form of that.
Yeah.
And we can never achieve that.
That's an easy one.
Ideally, a Fend song
Can't just say rocks.
would just make me feel amazing. I mean, to me, like, I just love music, and like, I just want to like make music that is awesome.
Yeah. That
like-
makes you lose control.
Literally,
Music makes me lose my
Literally.
mind.
Like, I want
Literally.
that feeling of like just full body chills and tears and a hot face, and you're moshing and all your friends are there. That's really it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Where you can do that, but also sometimes listen to it, and you're just like sitting down,
Yeah.
and you can just be like,
Or like you're the guy.
It's,
or like you're
it's
the
interesting
guy.
to listen to just sitting down. It's like, I'm just in a chair.
I'm just sitting down.
You can even listen to it standing up if you're really
Standing up.
brave. Let's
Listen
just
to
try
it
not
in
to fall.
in a variety of yoga positions.
Walking.
Downwards dog.
Fend is going to be the hot yoga soundtrack of the year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, really, the platonic ideal is to just make something that's going to go on one of those Obama playlists.
God damn it.
That's really it.
War criminal frowny face.
Yeah.
This is what you get when you ask a loaded question. you know?
That's fair. I'm reaping what I sow.
I love that question though.
Yeah. Yeah, that question was low key good.
Stop. I'm just muting John the entire time.
Yeah, the other mics are very close to me too.
Yeah, no, okay. Don't remind me. Yeah, that's I think very well put. It's I think a lot of albums that even ones that like we love or that I love, the kind of almost like joy of getting to experience that, like, and create something, even if it's about something very serious and emotional and kind of is all wrapped together, but like the joy of creating was really apparent. And I'm trying not to be biased just because I'm like, yeah, these people were in my basement again. And like, as you get to know people, that becomes more obvious. But I think just as a unit, especially just at the end of the day, you just like playing cool songs together. And that's not like it's kind of like a guiding principle, even if it isn't. Like, it's just, that's it remains at the heart of everything. There's not.
Yeah, I think if you're in a band and it's not like that, you should fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, not that came off very aggressive, I feel like, but
like
it's true.
It's kind of, yeah, I in a way I do agree with that. Like, it doesn't have to maybe be like audible necessarily, but you should always kind of have a sense of, or you want to have a sense of that from, like, especially like a band, a group of people.
yeah. You want when you're listening to music, you want to feel like the person cared about it when they were making it.
Yeah. I'm not like sitting there listening to like Metal Machine music and being like, yeah, the joy of creativity. Like, there's a whole, lots of music out there.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, I do love listening to Metal Machine music. That's not a knock against Lou.
He won't come for you.
God damn it. That is true. What would 2024 Fend tell 2022 Fend?
You gotta make disc.
You have to do
Make
it.
it
I'm like,
disc
this is
sooner.
like the most like college application or like college graduation, like we're all graduating, like the most kind of asinine version of this question, but
Have a great summer.
exactly, like, not what would you sign in Fend's yearbook and not talk
That's
for
a
2
good
years.
question.
But besides make disc, because that hopefully goes without saying, like, you're not time traveling.
We're saying Fend, not like us personally.
Yeah.
Like as
Right.
as people who are in Fend.
Okay.
You Fend is you guys.
I would say it's gonna get a lot more fun and easier.
Yeah. I know it's
And you're
terrible
gonna get
now.
way better at it.
Now you all hate each other right now.
Not that it was bad then at all, but like I was struggling to get my ideas out when we first started, and like I didn't even know how to perform. I feel like our first shows, you were at our first show.
Terrible, wasn't it?
Like I imagine it wasn't.
No, and that's not
terrible,
even
but-
because the person playing before was like the shittiest performance I've ever seen.
Oh man.
We listened to the Fargo episode. It's like, yeah, I wrote this song about a teenager,
like-
but like we're not teenagers anymore. But I just feel like I have to clarify that. You're like, why are you telling us that you're singing about a
If you
teenager?
didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known.
No, my favorite thing that dude did. This doesn't need to make it into the episode, but it could. My favorite thing that dude did was start playing a song. Got like maybe 2 bars in, maybe like maximum 5 or 6 words. And then just immediately was like, no, I'm not going to play that one. That one's too misogynistic.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think it was something like singing like we're all at the party. And then just like
No, that
it's
song.
like, no.
That song makes me sound like I hate women. You're like,
Interesting.
oh, okay.
That's what
That was on the set list.
yeah.
Until right now. Okay.
That's what we call an unforced error.
All right. Yeah. Tangent about that guy aside.
Yeah, he's about to join Fend. He's moving.
No.
He's taking my spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Replacing John with the pop punk acoustic guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
No. We've
something
tried.
else.
We've tried the 3-piece before. Didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a founding member.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't you? You were kind of just like recording and like, or
I
I
wasn't-
remember like.
I think y'all probably had like 2 practices or something. Or no, you recorded. They recorded the men that EP,
Yes.
and then I was mixing it, and then I think Josie just asked like, "Hey, do you want to just be in this band because you already know these songs?" And I said, "Okay."
You played guitar. You played a
Yeah, you
lead
did a
line in one
riff.
song.
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah.
which one it was though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that
But you
sounds.
did.
I remember
Yeah.
vaguely talking about that many
Yeah.
moons ago.
It was
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah.
A
that's
rare
cool.
time for Fend.
A rare
Proto
rare
Fend.
Fend appearance.
Yeah, it was proto.
No, as someone who was both Joe and I were at, I think almost all of like the first 4 or 5 Fend shows, just like kind of like unintentionally.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh yeah, no, we're just adding another show that Fend is also playing because we wanted to see Fend and all other bands. It was just kind of serendipitous. But especially like listening to Disc and getting to see the Disc songs and new songs continue to be performed live, that kind of confidence, especially in the vocals and in like the kind of the forwardness of the present of a lot of that and how open it is, has also been, I think, apparent or noticeable. That sounds so weird. As a listener and as a viewer, and just like yeah, no,
Hell yeah.
the years of work are showing, and
Thank you.
yeah, like the early stuff is good too, but it's just
Yeah,
like,
it was
it's said
pretty-
a little bit more
timid.
full throated. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot less timid.
Yeah. That was definitely like just didn't really believe in myself yet. But now I
Believe in
do
yourself.
for some reason.
Believe it.
And it's sick.
Believing yourself is
I
sick.
think it's the support of the band as well, and just all the experience too that we got. Like bands just started hitting us up to play shows randomly, and the rest was history. Just got a lot of practice.
Yeah. No, I think Fend is one of the only local bands I'll just see like random people just like tweeting about. There's not even like the memes and like the Guinness or Guinness or whatever.
The genus. Fucking
Like I know their
genus.
name, but I don't know how to pronounce the thing.
The
Just
genus.
like tweeting memes.
Everyone loves lore these days, so we
Do you say lore or lord?
lore.
Okay.
LORE, which just means, you have to have a universe, you have to have a franchise. It has to be a cultural moment.
Yeah, there needs to be a Fend multiverse.
Brat,
Kamala is Fend.
yeah,
Mm.
is no, not quite,
about
but Fend, like Fend to go, like hot to go, like that's another one.
Or like,
I just
I'm
meant
liking
people
this.
like,
I'm liking
like
this.
unprompted randomly tweet about how good Fend is, not
I'm
even like
liking this.
memes.
Oh,
So
okay.
well, that was a very funny answer.
We're trying to
we're trying to talk about the
we're trying to
genus.
be online, get our name out there in every way we possibly can, and that means harassing strangers online.
Yeah,
It's an aggressive marketing campaign.
I've
This
been
interview wasn't scheduled. Ven just showed up and like
I've
with
been,
a gun and like interview now.
been infiltrating the online disc golfing community.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
And I have a few operatives in there spreading information.
I wish we'd known because our house is a very pro Frolf house.
Well, if you're on Twitter, if there's a whole thing on there.
Yeah.
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 We're
Anyway.
meddling with elections. We're doing it all.
Yeah. Spamming
But
polls.
not in like the the 2016 way, in the like the America going into Latin America in the 70s way.
Well, the polls are like,
Not that either.
do you think X disc manufacturer is problematic because they gave money to X governor or whatever? There's like a lot of that
There's
stuff.
a lot of
That's the
discourse.
thing about Tim Walls.
Discourse.
That they don't.
Discourse,
They don't
yeah.
want to. Yeah, they don't want to
I
know.
don't know about discourse. I want disc course.
disc. I want to go on a course and play disc. Play with my. Play with. Yeah. I want to listen to disc, of course.
listening to disc while throwing discs. Anyways, one of the many reasons why I was excited to talk to y'all is because each of you is in so many different projects. Sometimes just as a core member, sometimes as songwriter. See, Abe and Kate, you both have your own solo projects. On top of just, and the two of you just like working on records like all the time and just like adding shit. And obviously with Early Eyes and Father Melissa and other bands, we don't need. I should say Keep for Cheap. We're not forgetting Keep for Cheap. Like
We don't.
yeah, I'm in that band. You don't have to be bashful. But I want to ask about that kind of multitude of collaborating and songwriting and just the joys and challenges of that. It's like having to kind of create that structure yourself versus coming in and just like, okay, we're going to help flesh it out, and what that process has been like for different projects, different bands, and also Fend. We're here talking about Fend, so we can't forget Fend.
Sure. Well, this is the only band that I have like a songwriting role in, really.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like the only time that I do this kind of thing. I mean, me and John play guitar in Early Eyes. We're supporting Ren.
Mm-hmm.
You got a couple. You got a couple early
Couple.
ass songs.
Yeah.
Couple, but like primary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. How is it different for you, Kate?
Just like between the projects, is that kind of the
Well,
question?
like just projects where it is like more of a collaborative role versus like the Kate Milanofi band, and
right.
like your solo work, or like especially, and also kind of similar
Yeah,
question posed to you, Abe.
it is a loaded question. I feel like it's like obviously different music, obviously. I feel like just the time when I joined Fend, I like really needed what Fend is, and was at that time. I feel like coming out of my solo record is kind of like where it started, which was really cool because I feel like that project almost, I don't want to say it drained me, but it was like a fatiguing process to make that solo record. And it just like, I feel like I've been taking some time away from that. And I feel like Fend kind of has been filling that void in a way. And it has also challenged me in ways I wouldn't have been challenged before. I love playing with Keep for Cheap, but those songs are super straightforward to put together for the most part. And these songs have a little bit more like nuance to them sometimes in terms of just like,
the complexity.
Yeah,
almost.
complexity, like moving through different time signatures and stuff like that. And just the style of it was something new to me. And so like having to kind of figure it out was really cool. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but
This whole podcast is that's so okay.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, just a really cool new challenge, and I feel like it's been super inspiring in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Next Kate solo record is gonna have like emo riffs all over it.
Yeah, it might.
It might, yeah.
Yeah, only time will tell. But.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Fend felt like very natural starting it, and also like my first like instrument I felt like I was like proficient on was drums, and there was like a very long gap where I was like really not playing drums that much with other people.
Yeah.
And Fend was kind of like the first thing that really like got me doing that again, and like also just like playing drums for other people again, and it just had like, I don't know, it felt very natural to like re-enter that role after like not being like a primary drummer since like high school for other bands. But yeah, I don't know. That was like, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like most comfortable and like natural in that role. So, and Fend was kind of like the first thing that got me back into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You drummed on your solo records.
I did, but that was just me by myself in a room during the pandemic. So it was like, you know, the whole like interaction of like being a live band, and especially like all like the dynamics. Like I mean like most of like my musical journey on drums was all just like punk and metal drumming and stuff. So it kind of really like forced me to think about some more of the intricacies of playing drums, which was very refreshing.
Yeah. Cool. This is a little bit more cut and dry version of that question, but do you think there's a reason why you like why one would or why any of you have split a band where it's like a lot of the same collaborators, a lot of the same folks in kind of each with like maybe a different primary songwriting voice versus just kind of combining those things and like again synthesizing, to use that word way too many times. Genre, I mean, kind of the sound I'm sure plays a big role on that, but has there been kind of like a reasoning that you've picked up on or noticed in yourselves for that? Why, like, in the draw to write your own music and the draw to go out and collaborate elsewhere, even if it's the same people on different instruments a lot of the time?
That's a cool question.
I feel like I used to make a lot of music alone. And then for some reason I just stopped being able to. Like there's no way I could have done any of this without you guys. I don't plan on making music alone. Like ever again. That's not true, but
it's harder.
It's very draining.
Teamwork
it's just
makes
yourself.
the dream work.
Yeah.
When you can trust that you can show up with something that is bare and trust that your cohorts will make it like perfect, man.
I feel
like really lucky.
I think it helps like retain a level of mystique for like, I guess for me, like being involved with something, if I'm like going to make every aspect of it from the ground up, top to bottom, I kind of like know, like you know what's going on, you know, all like the ins and outs, but it like, you still can surprise yourself in that context, but it's like, you get so much more of like a consistent level of like surprise with like, you know, collaborating with other people. And there are still like, it's fun when like you don't exactly like know 100% like what is going on with a song that like you're playing.
Yeah.
But like maybe everyone is operating at like if everyone is all at 80%, you can kind of just assume that like there's overlap enough to where 100% of what needs to get covered gets covered.
200%.
Yeah, literally. Add it up.
That
Wait, no,
doesn't
it's
make sense.
320%.
It's 300. Yeah, exactly.
320% juice.
It only gets better.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's real.
and it's just fun to do things with and for other people.
Yeah.
A bandmate is kind of like a VST,
Exactly.
What is
Do you have VST?
like a virtual instrument that you can
yes.
like just put on the channel and play the song, and then it's just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, your band
Like
it's just like a tool.
Yeah. No, Abe, John, Kate's parts were all AI generated. Actually, they just fed a bunch of bass playing into it, and like this is what a Kate Malanofi bass line sounds.
Yeah.
That's not true. Are you sure about that?
I'm gonna go home and watch that.
This is the first time Celery Man has come up
Oh
unprompted.
my
in an interview.
god.
Thank you for that.
the genus won't understand.
Good.
They're too young.
They're too young.
Past
Past.
for their time.
They're probably studying for algebra 2 right now.
What was a moment, hopefully one among many perhaps, but where the experience of being in Fend was really fulfilling everything that you wanted it to, just as a player, as a collaborator, as a friend? I know it's kind of like a similar, almost a rephrased version, kind of what we've been talking about this whole time, but like a lot of times, maybe just hearing a first mix of a song that you all four worked on, and just like, oh my god, yeah, or a particularly kind of transcendent live show where everyone's just really locked in. You're like, yeah, this is what I love about this band. This is why I love being in this band. This is why I want to keep doing. Like, I want to keep doing things that make me feel this way, I guess.
Being on tour.
Yeah, that tour was
Coachella.
Coachella.
Yeah, Coachella.
Fendchella.
I think something broke open on that show.
Yeah. That was a crazy show, and we didn't get COVID.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah,
That's
did not
probably
get
my
COVID.
favorite part.
Anita Velveeta booked the whole thing.
Yep.
Mhm.
Thank you, Anita.
Thank you, Anita.
That's everything I want.
We
Just
went-
land.
just hung out.
Yeah, Anita's also a booking agent for Fend.
Yeah, well, no, I remember telling Anita, we had the idea, like, yeah, we should go on tour with Anita. And I was like, yeah, I'll tell her. And then I was like, hey, Anita, we should do a Fend tour. And she's like, yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm like, okay, cool. So can you book that? She was like, yes, John.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, it had to be like one of those shows.
Yeah.
There were a lot of moments. I think Coachella was big. That was one of those days where you just cry for no reason. Because there's so many people there that were complete strangers, but we also had like a couple people say that like we made a big impression, and that is just like an insane feeling.
Yeah.
Like, go completely removed from your circle. None of your friends are there. But like, you make friends right away. In that way, I feel like, there was like a crazy storm that one night that we went running around in. That was sick.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that show was fun.
but in terms of like band affirming moments, what was like the best one?
I felt amazing when I got the masters for disc back from Abe and knew that I was finally unable to change anything about the mixes. I like,
Thank God.
it was such a relieving moment, because like if left, I mean, it's just like how anyone is with any like creative thing. If left to your own devices, you're just gonna tweak something forever until it's done. You just need to like have a deadline. And
that's the only time I get things done.
yeah, exactly. We just like self-imposed, like, we want to have the album out September 6th so we can have the release show on Josie's birthday on the 13th.
Yes.
I'm just
So-
really glad the release show isn't on September 6th.
Oh yeah, no,
That'd be kind of fucked up.
that would be terrible.
No, we did consider that.
Yeah, but no, absolutely not. Too much.
Yeah, Anita already did that to us by having the show with Thought Crime and Thumper that night. I was like, I want to go to that.
They should move that. What else? What's everyone's favorite epic Fend moments of history?
Epic Fend moments in history.
Top 5 Fend betrayals.
A lot. I feel like some like those practices, learning the album were really cool and fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like, yeah. That process of learning those songs was super sick.
One of my favorites is when I brought Kissing to Kiss to Abe, and we like locked ourselves in the practice room for literally probably 90 minutes.
Yeah, just on that song.
And just like tried to learn, because like I didn't understand what I had written, and Abe was trying to
I also didn't understand what Josie had written, but we figured it out.
But together we reached a conclusion.
It took me so long
And
to
that's
get
what you hear.
back into like the verse, because it comes in on like a rant,
it's like on the
eighth note
offbeat.
different than like what you would expect. And it just took so long to like internalize that.
It's just vibes.
It was
it's
very
awesome.
fun hashing that one out.
Yeah. That's a song that very much is just like it's just a melody, and everything just follows the melody around.
Mm-hmm.
But
Do you have a moment, Abe?
I still think Focello, like just in general, like that was like, well, also like just the context of it, because like it was kind of, I know it was like kind of new for like the band, but that was like my 5th time playing, because like I had just been playing there for so long. And it was kind of like,
you've been in Howard so
God.
many times.
Elder statesman.
like not to get like too much into like the Abe backstory, but I don't know. I felt like it was like a coming full circle moment after the last like few years of just like, you know, the not great like history with the last couple of things I've been working on, but like, you know, it felt like really good to be there with the band. I felt really good about.
those lights.
Yeah, exactly. Well, me and Abe also played the Anita set.
Oh yes, indeed.
Later in the night, we
That
played.
was a
That was
life-changing set.
freaking
That shit was
oh
crazy.
My God.
That was we got
That was
Fend,
like the moment.
Yeah.
Fend's set was the second of the day. Anita's set was the second to last of the day, I think.
Mhm.
So we were in Bowling Green all day.
All day.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I think I
Eating
went to that
hot dogs.
Taco Bell 2 different times. The AC was really nice.
It was, yeah.
in the hot dog house.
Hot dog
Yep,
house.
hot dog house.
House.
Say no more.
Oh, you didn't mean me.
Nah,
Uh,
please.
No, I that was one of the times like right after the Fend set at Focello. I think like Mel from Pretty Bitter like was tweeting about how much Fend rocked, and I was like, hell yeah!
So crazy.
Biggest FOMO I've gotten in a long time. But no, that seemed like a
the
really
way
special moment.
That some just, I don't know. It was a very validating experience.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
crazy. Shout out Focello and Connor and everyone.
Shout out to Pretty Bitter.
Shout out Connor and Pretty Bitter and Howard's.
Howard.
They make a lot of money on cover bands, but they
Yeah.
also throw Focello, so it's all.
That's
It's
what
all
I'm
good.
saying. Shout out to Blind Equation.
Yep.
Oh,
Shout out to.
all right, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
my
The
God.
shout out corner's not yet.
I
You
mean-
know this. You know
Oh
this.
my god.
I've enjoyed asking pretty much anyone I interview this question lately, but what's something that you really love about your own creativity, about your own art, about the things that you can bring to it, whether it's like across mediums, across the board, something that you feel is very unique to you and like that you just really appreciate. And just some more self-affirmations.
Hmm.
Incredible.
Does anyone have immediate thoughts?
Are we talking about ourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about yourself.
Yeah.
Speak for
You
yourself.
guys do mine for me.
Hell no. Hell no.
We mull it
I
over.
I like that I'm able to make a lot of connections that aren't quite as intuitive for a lot of other people. I think that's like the case for anyone. Anyone like brings their own set of influences, but I think I'm a very curious person, and that makes making music fun. And I also like that I can still like have a good and like exploratory relationship with the guitar, even though I've been playing it for like most of my life. And there were a lot of times where I thought I was kind of getting bored of it, but the guitar is fucking awesome. And
Shout
I
out
like
guitars.
to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like over the course of my life, it has been the biggest vehicle in just like making friendships and like lasting friendships and connecting with people like over like a shared passion for something, and also just how much there is to explore and how much you can like use it to like express your own feelings in different ways. And like, you know, it is, I feel like it's a common like Midwestern Minnesotan thing, like, or just like growing up with like super repressed emotions or just like living in that sort of situation. And then like, oh, but I can just like drum to these records and it makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
And you can just like explore these different worlds without having to like, I don't know, like put on some sort of like front or be someone who you're not and like express those feelings in different ways.
What?
Hell yeah. I think one thing that I love about me is once I feel, well, I feel like once I get going, I just go and I cannot stop until I'm done.
Yeah.
Which is really, really good sometimes. I don't know. I think I have a one-track mind. If I can get going, and I don't know, that combined with a certain lack of fear is fun. It's a fun way to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
True.
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I need to think about it more.
Yeah. Say it to yourself in the mirror.
I think a lot of the ways I view my own creativity is like almost combative. Like
yeah.
it's not a very loving relationship. Because I feel like my work ethic is so like fucking weird and controlling sometimes. But hey, I don't think I could live any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Head ass.
Type shit.
Head ass.
I don't know. It's a hard question.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like also change. I feel like I don't know. Things change about us, and that's really cool. But I feel like I'm in a place right now where it's like hard to answer that question because I feel like I'm in that kind of a period in a way. But I think I don't know. I think I am someone who is very adaptable, and that is good for band situations. In general, like going on tour, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of my creativity, I feel like similar to what John said, I feel like maybe there are connections that I make that sometimes people would not make. And I feel like I really like to look at things like on a big picture kind of scale, or like see it from a different, I can't even describe what I'm trying to say right now. But
You do have like an amazing eye for things, like seeing things that others might not.
Cats going
There's
crazy.
like cats like
Yeah,
fucking each other
they're
up
fighting.
outside.
Oh no.
Yeah.
they're fighting out there. It was a little distracting. But yeah, I think that's probably what I'd say is just like bringing in some random shit, perhaps.
Exactly.
Beautifully put. Perhaps bringing in some random shit.
Let everyone else filter it out. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I think,
I like to throw shit at the wall.
Circle back to this, but one of the best things about, like, a kind of, I don't know how you feel about the term, but almost like a super group to me, at the very least. It's like, just all coming together and just like have these super unique sound palettes and influences and things that you like and don't like and can bring to a record and to a band, and it's just like thrown in the blender and be like, oh, Fend, the Fender,
Yes.
Maybe
disc. Cool. Thinking the future. I know that's a bit silly to do since the album's out in 2 weeks from where we're recording.
No, I'm already over it. We're honestly over
you're
this.
already working on LP2. You said that.
We're playing an LP2 track at the show that is going to blow your socks off.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going
about
barefoot,
Slide?
so
Yeah.
that's what you
Yeah,
said.
no, we're playing the best Fend song at the show. It's not on disc.
Yeah.
We played it on tour. The song's called Slide. We played it on tour, and I told Anita recently, like, I just wrapped up, finished working on disc. She was like, oh, awesome. Is Slide on that one? I was like, no. And she was like, damn. So
Yeah, but what beyond the release of disc, taking a big breath of relief and relishing in the intensity and the anxiety and the joy and all those things that comes with releasing a body of music. But since again you're very, very future facing band and you stay busy. So what does that look like from right now, from this vantage point?
I think. Are we taking a little break? Probably.
I feel like
If you want to.
John is starting a new band. Kate has more music to make that I'm sure, and Abe has a new project as well. And we have an Early Eyes album to make.
Yeah, I have an Anita
Yeah.
album to make too. So honestly, I think
There's a lot
after
going on.
Well, we've just made the decision right now.
Yeah. Well, it's not.
But
It's
that will
not-
give me plenty of time to finish.
Well, yeah. I feel like we'll just have to all go do our side quests or like things.
Implying Fend is the
Gain
main
some
guy.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know,
Fend is
what?
the main
I was saying like side quests that like from their vantage point, Fend is a side quest.
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna do
Right.
a bunch of other shit, and then by the time we're done with that, we'll be fully energized to
I
come
can
back.
pretty confidently say that we will not be touring. So sorry to everyone around the world listening.
Yeah.
You just have to
we
come
do
to
get a lot of
Minneapolis.
listeners over in Central Europe, so
Yeah,
that'd be really
yeah.
bummed
You can
about
offer
that.
us a flight and a
Right,
generous
right,
per
right, right.
diem. We will consider it.
We'll consider it. I mean,
Mhm.
I feel like certain like little Midwest situations are not off the table,
Yeah.
but
an occasional
we're
jaunt.
not. I'm not trying to
Sure,
go
I
to.
just meant like generally.
Yeah,
Yes.
no,
That's
we're
not
not.
really our grind.
Nah,
Mm-mm.
I'm not trying to go to fucking Phoenix. I'm not trying to go to
One off in
fucking.
Fend
not
will
trying to
never
go to
play in
Bloomington
Phoenix.
I'm
anymore.
not
Arizona.
trying to go to Blooming. I'm.
Trying to go back to Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah, honestly.
That was pretty sick.
Wait, what was in Bloomington?
House show,
Nice
right?
show there.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that, so I didn't mean to target a place. It's like, no, fuck you,
Yeah.
Indiana.
Bloomington's on the map. We put Bloomington on the map.
Nice. Now we come to the way we always wrap this up. Who are some local artists, DIY artists, people that you are excited about?
Shout out to the bird.
The genus.
The genus.
Stop
Melon
shouting out the
herpes.
genus. We have to shout out more than just Max.
Oh my
But
god.
even like other
For sure.
projects y'all are even in that we haven't named.
Shout out to Malamiko.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I am not honestly sure how old that band is, but best new band.
No,
Yeah, Malamiko's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
even that like our show, half of it got copy pasted onto your show. It's like beautiful. I get to see these bands again.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
They're so good.
Shout out to Haze Gazers. Shout out to
Yes.
12th House
12th
Sun.
House
Yeah.
Sun.
Yep.
Yes.
Shout out to
I like this
Silo.
band Hot Bagels.
Silo
Hot Bagels is
Bagels.
great.
We played
Really
our
the Hot
first show ever
Bagels.
with Hot Bagels.
That's actually true.
Damn, yeah.
Lore Drop. Shout out to Trash Date.
Big time.
Yep.
Check out their record if you haven't.
Shout out to Thumper.
Thumper.
Shout out to.
Finish that fucking EP.
That's what I'm saying. And shout out to everybody in the world.
Yeah.
Except for,
anybody doing it out
You know,
there.
you know who you are.
Shout out to my friend Cade.
Yo, yes. Shout out to
And
Cade.
shout out to my other friend Andy.
Yes. Shout out to Andy.
They're both local.
Shout out to Mustafa.
Yep.
Staff has been shout out so many times this year. I
Hell
love
yeah.
that.
Hell yeah.
That
We're
rocks.
shouting. Yes. Shouting from the rooftops.
Shout out to Ben from Anita Velveeta.
Yo, shout out to my boy Ben. Shout out to Allo 11. Shout out to
Keep on coming.
Oh, I'm sure we're forgetting so many.
There's
As I always say, it's such a beautiful thing that there will always be bands that you would either be going forever. There's no comprehensive way to do that because there's just such an abundance of cool art and cool music.
Yep.
And these are just ones that come to mind right now that have been on.
Oh, shout out to Charlotte Siam.
Yep. Shout out to
Instrumental.
Is it CM? I've been saying CME and I felt like that was
Oh,
wrong.
I think it's CM.
Okay.
BM.
Fringe.
Yeah.
Orange.
That Fringe.
Shout out to my boy Colin.
Yep.
Prathloons. Shout out to
Prathloons.
Shout out to Gavin.
shout out to my boy Gavin.
What's up, Gavin? He's probably listening.
He's listening right now.
Right
Shout out to
now,
my friend
somewhere.
Gavin. Shout out to my friend Nick. Shout out to Ghost Ship.
Yes.
Yep.
Are you shouting out your
Reference.
own song?
Ghost Ship was named after an extremely short-lived screamo band that I had in
nice.
high school with my friends Gavin and Nick.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Wow.
I can send you our
Water
lost
version comes to light.
demo.
That's fun.
Oh my god, that rocks.
2 songs. They're all, I listened to them the other
Very
day. They're
good.
awesome.
Ghost Ship.
Very
Shout out
good.
Ghost Ship, yeah.
Legendary.
Best band name ever.
Yeah.
But,
It just makes me-
taken.
Makes me think of
Yeah.
that one part in Wind Waker where you just have to go on the Ghost Ship and like at the time we were like, oh, they made a song. They made a Wind Waker. No, they didn't.
Hell no.
I see.
Hell
Yeah.
no.
No.
Nope.
We're shouting out Belleville, Michigan DIY.
Yeah.
We're shouting out Wayne County DIY.
Yeah. Shout out Amy. Thank you, Amy,
Yeah.
for everything.
Yeah.
Not local.
It doesn't have to be local. Just,
Nah.
we're spreading the love.
But still instrumental.
Still instrumental. Amy's my mom. And shout out to my dad, Mike. And shout out to
to my parents too.
yeah, shout out to all of our parents.
out there.
All the
Yeah,
parents.
shout out
And
to the parents of
and my
Fend.
brother,
Yep.
and my sister, and my
If you're a parent to
sister,
anyone,
yeah.
just know you did a great job. Don't let anyone tell you any different. All right.
All right, John. I'm cutting that part. That's too many shout outs. No, we're good.
Yeah. Who are you gonna cut?
Yeah. just all the parents. I'm like that. Not all the parents need to be shouted out.
You gotta keep Amy in, or else I'm
Like
vetoing
I am not
this.
shouting out Michael and Wayne.
We're not shouting them out.
Yeah, John, don't do
all
it.
over.
I won't.
Don't
Shout
do
out
it.
to the dog that hangs out at Palmer's.
Hey,
Yeah.
yes,
Hell
Yo,
yeah.
actually,
yes.
Shout out the Palmer's dog.
Local.
There should be a band called Palmer's Dog.
Palmer's dog.
Palmer's-
It's
Probably not taken.
Probably not taken.
Pavlov's dog.
All right, but I'll be expecting an invoice. For when the new band gets going. Where can people find you guys and keep track of the band? Support y'all. Disc will be presumably everywhere you can find music.
For sure. Yeah. It'll be on, Deezer, Tidal,
Touch tunes.
Groove
and
Shark.
Instagram.
Touch Tunes.
Instagram, of course. Facebook Music, YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, you'll be able to put Fend songs on they have to be like little
And-
songs to play over your Instagram
yes.
posts,
Yeah.
and that's
But yes.
the best way to listen.
Amazon Music.
Anywhere that you can find music, you will find it. Probably.
Not at a record
shout out
store.
DistroKid.
Threads.
Shout out DistroKid. We're probably gonna make some CDs, so you can come find us at a show. We play around the Twin Cities often. Come out to a show.
Yeah.
They're fun.
I think this is coming out before the release show, so
Yeah.
come to the release show at Pillar
September
Forum.
13th Pillar Forum, 7 p.m. Anita Velveeta, Melon Herpes, and Malamiko.
And Fend.
And also
Fend.
Fend.
And I'm gonna get a vegan burger beforehand.
Yep.
Those
And we
are
might
so
get and we might
good.
get tacos after.
You're not invited though.
You have been listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. If you like what you heard, please rate, review, and share so we can stand out against the sea of other music podcasts. You can find information and other important links, including tickets for our upcoming birthday show, in the show notes of this episode. If you would like to support us, please consider subscribing on Patreon for early access to live sessions and other bonus content. You can also subscribe to our Substack for a regular newsletter with reviews, ramblings, and anything else we have to say. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.